It can be said that the importance of a vehicle system is directly proportional to the impact that system would have on your life if it failed. So, how important is your vehicle's fuel system? Well, if you're living with limited mobility, anything that takes your vehicle out of commission has pretty significant consequences. After all, borrowing your neighbor's car while yours is being serviced isn't usually an option. And the consequences of a vehicle fire caused by a fuel leak, well, that's serious under any circumstances. So my point is, you really shouldn't compromise when it comes to the integrity and dependability of your fuel system. It makes sense to ask how the wheelchair-accessible vehicle manufacturers you're considering reintegrate the vehicle fuel system after they take it apart and drop that floor. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see, this manufacturer chose to replace the original fuel lines on this vehicle as part of its conversion. That actually makes good sense because, as you can imagine, dropping the floor several inches would require the straightening and rebending of lines to configurations other than those intended by the OEM. Twisting and rebending can not only stress the lines, but it can lead to kinking and problems with both fuel flow and venting. So, new is good, unless the new lines have inherent problems that could compromise performance and even safety. If you have a vent line that is made of flex tubing, it's not a problem. But high-pressure hose going to the engine like this one isn't the best idea. The size of replacement hoses and tubing is also an issue. An undersized fuel fill tube can affect the vehicle performance, so it's probably not a good choice. And this line uses worm hose clamps on the end fittings. Tighten those the wrong way, and you could have problems that easily result in check engine lights, or even worse, a fuel leak. And that's not all. This manufacturer uses something called a P-clip to attach the lines to the frame. The problem is that P-clips require the use of self-tapping screws, screws that bore right into the vehicle frame, and that creates exposed areas that invite corrosion. Any attempt to remove those lines can result in stripped screws and the need to use larger screws or make new taps to reattach the lines, all of which set the stage for more corrosion. But that's not even the biggest concern here. These fuel lines were reattached so that they rest right against the vehicle frame. That means that every vibration causes wear on these lines, and lines that are under pressure really shouldn't be exposed to wear. Now, to be fair, every manufacturer of a lowered floor vehicle has to relocate the tank behind the rear axle, and every manufacturer has to meet certain performance standards. But, blunt as it sounds, they're not the ones that are going to be sitting by the side of the road if that system fails. In this case, what do you see? This tank has straps running from side to side. So what, if anything, will help to prevent that tank from being pushed forward in the event of a rear impact? All right, let's take a look at another manufacturer's fuel tank. What you wouldn't know by looking at it is that the OEM of this vehicle actually had support straps running from front to back. But this manufacturer turned the gas tank, and of course the support straps, 90 degrees. So now the straps run from side to side, totally contrary to what the OEM did. Why? Is there a good reason? On a more positive note, this manufacturer doesn't use hose in the fuel system, and that's a good thing. These are steel lines, and that's better from an engineering perspective. But then you see something like this. This is an evaporation line, and it circles back and rubs against the body right here. It's not routed right, and there's too much excess. It looks like they made it fit as best they could, which, if you ask me, isn't good enough. It's a shortcut in your fuel system. Unfortunately, as we move forward, you can see that we have the same issues with the way the fuel lines are attached to the vehicle. P-clips, self-tapping screws, and even though this manufacturer covered the lines with corrugated plastic, in what looks like an attempt to provide a degree of protection, there's nothing in there to keep the lines from rubbing against each other. And over time, you'll get debris and moisture in there. And after a little wear and a crack and a bend in the coating, you could get quick corrosion on the fuel lines. So it looks good, but it's not. And it's not what the OEM designed in the system. So how do you improve on what we've seen here? Well, BraunAbility takes what some would say is a more aggressive approach to their fuel system conversion. Not only in an effort to hold the OEM's original design and construction, but also to overcome the challenges that are inherent to lowered floor vehicles. For example, BraunAbility replaces their fuel lines from the jumpers at the engine all the way back. And as you can see, they're nice and straight. Where bends are needed to follow the contour of the undercarriage, they're custom bent to fit pre-designed routing. No straightening or rebending that can stress lines and lend to leaks or failure. They also access the OEM's Tier 1 supplier, meaning they have the same nylon pipelines, proprietary materials, quick connects, and body locks that the OEM designed into the original system. Good design also lends to better fuel consumption and better control of emissions, so that's a bonus. And look at this. BraunAbility uses Christmas tree style hangers that separate the fuel lines from each other and from the frame, so they can't rub. The hangers themselves are attached to the frame through holes that are lasered, then primed and undercoated to make the metal around the holes more resistant to corrosion. Now, even though everything up here shows that significant attention to detail has gone into the fuel system, here's where I think it's most obvious. The fuel tank structure itself has multiple gussets. This plate holds the tank in, and then there are 3 straps with bolts running from front to back instead of side to side. And multiple billets shows solid effort to surround the fuel tank with something of substance. No doubt, there's a cost attached to what you see here. BraunAbility invests significantly more in their fuel system. But you might want to ask yourself why BraunAbility would go to such great lengths and expense to design and build a fuel system this way, especially when many consumers assume that all vehicles are essentially the same. Why would BraunAbility work so hard? Maybe a better question is, why doesn't everyone? The choice is yours.